Before the celebration party, I unexpectedly discovered that a necklace my husband gave me was missing. I called him numerous times, but no one answered. It wasn't until the banquet started that he appeared at the entrance with his personal assistant. Then I noticed that she was wearing my sparkling LV necklace around her neck. "Oh, since you like giving gifts so much, then give as many as you want." I cleared out all the jewelry from the luxury stores in the city and divided up the company's assets. "Mr. Gu likes to give women jewelry, so I will give you a divorce agreement." At the celebration banquet, I was drinking and chatting happily with various business leaders in a haute couture dress. After a slight blush of tipsiness appeared on her face, her husband Enzo Gu finally arrived with his new love aria. As soon as they appeared, whispers immediately rang out in the banquet hall. "Isn't this Mr. Gu? Why is he here with this woman? Don't men like young girls? If you look closely, her features look a bit like Vice President Lee's." Amid the discussion among the crowd, they stood side by side. Aria held his arm in an intimate manner, her eyes full of dependence. Aria, who seemed like a completely different person. I couldn't help but sigh that Enzo Gu's taste is still as good as before. This morning, when I saw Enzo Gu's spending record, I thought he was going to give me this necklace as a surprise. For this purpose, I specially chose a dress to match it. I couldn't contain my joy and secretly asked his male assistant, but what he got was a hesitant reply, and even on the phone, he could hear Aria's deliberately suppressed boasting. "This is the necklace that Mr. Gu gave me. Even Mrs. Gu doesn't have it." Only then did I realize that his gift was no longer just for me. Aria huddled up beside Enzo Gu obediently and smiled at me ingratiatingly. The dimples at the corners of her mouth looked particularly familiar. "Hello, Vice President Lee. I've always heard from President Gu that you are the best negotiator in our company. This big order is also thanks to you." I sneered and looked coldly at her evasive eyes. "Aria, the necklace on your neck is nice. I heard that it would cost at least 5 million to buy this necklace." Aria instantly showed an uneasy look and subconsciously moved her body closer to Enzo Gu beside her. Enzo Gu met my scrutinizing gaze, with a hint of helplessness and doting in his eyes. "Mavel I. Don't be jealous. Aria just graduated and has never attended a high-level dinner or worn any decent jewelry. Since I hired her as my assistant, I will definitely train her slowly." I curled my lips and chuckled, glancing at the assistant beside me. He immediately appeared in front of Enzo Gu with a large group of salesmen carrying black briefcases. After the crisp sound of opening the box, countless jewelry brooches and necklaces instantly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. "Vice President Lee, what are you doing?" I gracefully handed the wine glass in my hand to the waiter and gently ran my fingers over the dazzling array of jewels. "Why don't you thank me, Mr. Gu, for being so generous? Many of the people present here are fresh graduates, and they all need high-end dresses and jewelry to look their best. Since Mr. Gu is so generous, he certainly won't only favor his assistant, right?" Aria realized that I was embarrassing them both. Her fair face instantly turned red, and she was about to cry out of grievance. "Vice President Lee, please don't make things difficult for President Gu. This is all my fault. I am not worthy of wearing such an expensive necklace. TSK. It makes me sound like I'm taking advantage of my power to bully others or to break up a couple in love." I raised my eyes and looked at this woman straight in the eye for the first time tonight. "Aria, right, you're overreacting. It's just some jewelry. How can you say it's a problem? Enzo Gu and I are each other's first love. Apart from me, he has never had close contact with any other woman. It is normal for him to be unsure of the limits when giving gifts, but as his personal assistant, don't you even have this sense of propriety between men and women?" Aria's eyes turned red with grievance and she apologized to me reluctantly. "Enzo Gu has been a cool and handsome man admired by everyone since he was in school. It was not until he met me that his iceberg began to melt. After we got married, he put all his attention on the company. Even though there were so many women throwing themselves at him, he never had any scandals. Only after returning home would he take off his cold and aloof outer coat, gently hold me in his arms, and tell me in my ear that I would always be his only one. But now, this uniqueness seems to be in jeopardy." I saw love for another woman in his eyes. Enzo Gu looked at me. With even deeper helplessness in his eyes, he calmly took out a black card and handed it to my assistant. Okay, I'll pay for all the jewelry today. He walked up to me slowly, put his arm around my waist, and my figure appeared in his deep black eyes. As the champagne was being poured in celebration, his voice rang in my ears. My little baby is so cute when he's jealous, but why get so angry over an unimportant person? You are the protagonist of today's celebration party. He slowly lowered his head and tried to kiss my lips. I turned my head away, met his somewhat surprised eyes, curled my lips, and took the initiative to place a kiss on the side of his cheek, but left immediately. Unimportant person. But in Aria's eyes, you are very important. I can forget about what happened today, but Enzo Gu, I hope that something like this won't happen again in the future. The onlookers just thought we were flirting and started to cheer. Enzo Gu's calm expression shattered, and he frowned and pursed his lips. Mavelai, I told you, you think too much. Aria and I are just superiors and subordinates, and we will always be superiors and subordinates. I will always love only you. I looked at him seriously and took a step back. To embarrass Enzo Gu, it also hurt my own face. It's really degrading to be jealous of someone who looks like a dodder. Now that I've let out my anger, I'll mercifully let them go. After all, I don't have any solid evidence of their ambiguity at the moment. The people who attended the celebration party were all shrewd people. After seeing a good show and getting some substantial benefits, they even went to Aria to curse her for me. Oh, Aria, it's thanks to you that we were able to get such expensive jewelry. In Mr. Gu's eyes, these are just small amounts of money. You don't really think Mr. Gu is special to you, do you? But Aria, to be honest, when you smile, you look a bit like Vice President Lee Won-wan. This is also your blessing. TSK TSK TSK. A group of people surrounded Aria, expressing their gratitude on the surface, but their words were actually full of sarcasm. Aria had probably never been treated like this before, and her eyes were filled with tears of humiliation. She rushed out of the crowd in a panic and disappeared until the end of the dinner. After the celebration banquet, I got into Enzo Gu's car. As soon as I sat in the passenger seat, I smelled a sweet and cheap perfume. A pink sticker looks out of place on the custom leather dashboard side guard. I curled my lips into a cold smile, and the seemingly harmless girl immediately appeared in front of me, unexpectedly. She was already sitting in Enzo Gu's car, and was sitting in the passenger seat. The anger that I had managed to suppress at the dinner party suddenly rushed to the top of my head. How could these two people be so inconsiderate? If she just bought a necklace, I could still barely think that Enzo Gu really wanted to help her. Can she sit in the passenger seat that is reserved exclusively for the hostess? How can she deserve it, after all these years of marriage? This is the first time I'm so angry with Enzo Gu, especially since he still looked calm and composed. I turned around and was about to speak, but a phone call interrupted my question. Enzo Gu took a look and pressed the answer button very naturally. Okay, don't worry, I'll be there soon. His tone was soft and soothing, but alarm bells instantly went off in my heart. Mavelai, Aria is being embarrassed by the salesgirl. I need to go somewhere. Can you ask the assistant to pick you up? You're going to throw me on the side of the road for her. I widened my eyes and suddenly felt that the man in front of me was extremely strange. Enzo Gu's eyes showed a familiar helpless look again. Mavelai, girls are thin-skinned. She was just provoked by you, and now she is embarrassed by the salesgirl. She is alone. I am afraid something will happen to her. Be good, and wait until I'm done with this before I go home to be with you. Okay, you're worried about her but not me. My eyes were slightly red. You left me alone on the side of the road. Aren't you afraid that something might happen to me? Gu Yangche, who is your wife? Enzo Gu sighed, and the emotion in his eyes slowly faded away. Mavelai, don't be unreasonable. I told you. The relationship between Aria and I is not what you think. Being unreasonable. Haha. Does this mean you feel that I'm no longer as gentle and obedient as before? So you want to find another ignorant girl to get a sense of accomplishment from her? Years of being busy between family and business have worn away my innocence. I have indeed changed, but how much better are you? Enzo Gu, I looked at the man in front of me who was eager to support another woman, and my heart was filled with mixed emotions. Enzo Gu, I'm asking you one last time, do you really want to go? Enzo Gu's eyes flickered. And he wanted to say something but was interrupted by Aria's call. Wait for me at home, I'll be back as soon as I'm done. My heart completely turned cold. Without staying any longer, I got off the car and left resolutely. Enzo Gu, I've already given you a chance. I picked up my phone and called my lawyer friend. Help me draft a divorce agreement. In fact, I didn't want to divorce Enzo Gu until the last moment. We have been childhood sweethearts, from playmates to lovers to husband and wife. Our relationship has always been strong and it is a God-given match that everyone talks about. After we got married, in order to live a better life, we worked hard together and founded the GU Group. This company is the result of the joint efforts of both of us. It would be very troublesome to split it up. After waiting for a while in the cold wind, I finally got into my assistant's car and returned home. Maybe it was because of drinking and the wind, I had a severe headache. So I drank a glass of medicine and planned to go to sleep. Several messages from Enzo Gu suddenly popped up on the phone. Maveli, where are you? I didn't see you when I came out of the store. Did your assistant pick you up? It's cold today. Remember to drink plenty of hot water and go to bed early. I love you. Even when they were quarreling, he still remembered to express his love as usual. But now, I will no longer be moved by this sentence. The next day, when I opened the bedroom door, there was an exquisite breakfast placed at the door with a handwritten note from Enzo Gu on it. I'm going to the company first. Remember to have breakfast. Even though I had already planned to divorce, I still felt a little sad when I saw this note. What is this? A slap in the face and then a sweet date. I curled my lips, kicked my breakfast aside, put on some delicate makeup, and drove to the company. My heart felt heavy all morning, after finishing an internal meeting. I was about to return to the office when I saw Enzo Gu around the corner. Maveli, I have something to tell you. He took a step to the side, revealing Aria hiding behind him. Aria have been circulating in the company. His tone was calm, but I could catch the quick flash of pity in his eyes. Well, this time I saved myself a disgusting lunch. I sneered. What does it have to do with me if others gossip about her? Do you want me to shut up the employees one by one? I want you to issue a clarification in the company so that they will stop targeting her. As one of the company's founders, I naturally have a very high reputation within the company, and almost all female employees take me as a role model. After the dinner, the employees who had come to their senses spontaneously began to attack Aria. After all, mistresses are the public enemy of all women. Looking at the man who was clearly trying to defend Aria, I raised an eyebrow. Sorry, Mr. Gu. I can't issue this clarification. When the man heard the address of Mr. Gu, he was obviously startled. First, the criticism of Aria was not directed by me. Secondly, as the saying goes, justice lies in the hearts of the people. I cannot silence others. Third, this matter is ultimately because you did not know how to act properly. The person who tied the bell must untie it. Mr. Gu, please find a way to solve it yourself. After saying these 3 sentences, I gestured to send the guest away, but Aria came closer without any tact. Vice President Lee, it was clearly because of the scene you caused at the celebration banquet yesterday that this happened. Result, do you mean to expose your secret thoughts? I really feel like I'm about to develop a case of stupidity. She dared to put the blame on me in front of me. Does this woman think that she can do whatever she wants with the support of Enzo Gu? I turned around and said sarcastically, Boss Gu, I advise you to take your assistant back home quickly, otherwise there will be new rumors in the company soon. I pointed with my finger to alert them to a few employees not far away who seemed to be working but were actually listening intently to gossip. Aria was anxious and scared, and tears welled up in her eyes. Enzo Gu got angry at me, which was rare. Li Jiao, she's just a newcomer. Why are you always so aggressive? Aggressive? I laughed angrily. In your eyes, am I such a petty-minded woman? There was a hint of coldness in his eyes. How did you become like this? You are so strong-willed and calculating. Just like a shrew, she is just a little girl. Can't you just give in to her? As the vice president of the group, You are taking advantage of your status to bully a young girl who just came in. You are simply going too far. Why don't you apologize to Arya now? Arya, the closeness and distance and the superiority and inferiority are immediately apparent. There was no emotion on my face anymore and I kicked them out of the office. Arya in the company became more and more intense. After Enzo Gu had a tantrum at the meeting, he drove away from the company with Arya, and I drove to my best friend's house by myself. Oh my, isn't this the beautiful little Maeve that I'm going to be alone with soon? Seeing Gu's weird look, a smile appeared on my face. Stop talking nonsense. How is the divorce agreement I asked you to draft last time? I'm ready. When do you plan to officially file for divorce with Enzo Gu? In a week, it's my birthday. I want to be reborn in the new year. But before that, I still have a lot to do. To Enzo Gu for so many years, our interests have long been deeply intertwined, and even the elders of both families get along like close friends. Although they are bound to be sad about our divorce, I also want to try to add some happy moments to them. During this week, I spent a lot of time accompanying the elderly on both sides of the family, but at the same time, Enzo Gu was accompanying Arya to relax. The company was full of rumors about Enzo Gu and Arya. Hey, you know what? Arya told me that Mr. Gu took her to the North Pole. Really? Damn, I'm so envious. But she's so shameless to travel with a married man. Who said it wasn't true? President Gu was really blinded by greed. In order to be with his mistress, he even abandoned the company and directly handed it over to Vice President Lee. I walked down the corridor in my high heels, receiving sympathetic looks, but I don't care about that anymore. Since I have already made up my mind to divorce him, how can these things affect my mood? However, I didn't expect them to be so disgusting. One day, a strange email suddenly appeared in my mailbox. Inside, there was a photo of Enzo Gu and Arya on the bed in the hotel. I was so shocked that I was speechless. Even though I already knew that Enzo Gu and Arya were having an affair, I never thought he would go this far. This is so disrespectful to my face. With trembling hands, I clicked on the attached video, and an unbearable sound instantly rang out from the computer. Enzo Gu narrowed his eyes slightly, his aggressive gaze locked on the woman beneath him. The camera moved, and under the quilt was his naked chest. Just as he leaned down, I finally couldn't bear it anymore and slammed the computer shut. Gasping for breath, I felt like there was a big hole in my chest, with wind blowing through it. It took me a long time to calm down from my surging emotions, and I raised my hand to wipe away the tears from the corners of my eyes. Enzo Gu, I swear, this is the last time I will shed tears for you. I kept my birthday party this year very low-key. In addition to Enzo Gu's parents, I only invited my good friend Gu. Hey, Maeve, why hasn't Enzo Gu come yet? The mother-in-law looked around but couldn't find any trace of Enzo Gu. Gu quickly tried to smooth things over for me. Auntie, Mr. Gu is very busy with work and really can't spare the time. I have suppressed the gossip in the company and will never bring it to the elders. This kid doesn't even have time to spend with his wife. The father-in-law frowned in disapproval. I'll have to talk to him about this next time I see him. Listening to their words of defense, my eyes couldn't help but become sore. If Enzo Gu hadn't cheated, I really wouldn't want to leave such a good family. Unfortunately, there is no if. Enzo Gu's uninvited arrival broke the happy scene, especially with Arya following behind him. Who is this little girl? The mother-in-law frowned slightly as she looked at the unfamiliar woman, Enzo Gu with cold eyes. He came to my birthday uninvited and even brought his mistress with him. It was undoubtedly my face that was pressed to the ground and stepped on. She is an assistant in our company. Enzo Gu spoke briefly and looked at me. Maeve, I brought Arya here this time to clear up the misunderstanding between you. Today is your birthday, and it's also a good opportunity to break the ice. Breaking the ice. People laugh when they are extremely angry and speechless. I deeply felt the meaning of this sentence and curled my lips to see what kind of show they were going to put on for me. Arya still looked timid, and carefully handed me a gift. Vice President Lee, this is the gift I bought for you. I wish you a happy birthday, and I hope you won't be angry with me anymore. Gift. Gu was so angry that she raised her hand and slammed the thing she gave to the ground. Oh, I think this is compensation for you sleeping with someone else's husband. Her words shocked the whole audience. My father-in-law was so shocked that he took a long time to calm down. He looked up at me in disbelief. Mavelai, what did she mean by that? Seeing that you had already said it, I no longer concealed it and threw the photos in the mailbox on the table. Dad, Mom, you can see for yourselves. Enzo Gu saw the photo. His face turned pale. He picked up one in disbelief, and on it was a picture of him and Aria roaming in bed. Granny picked up one with shaking hands and finally found her voice. Enzo Gu, what's going on? Enzo Gu's expression changed from surprise to anger. Li Jiao, you forged photos to plot against me. I plotted against you. I laughed in anger. You think too highly of yourself. I don't even bother to spend any more time on a dirty man like you. If photos can be faked, can videos also be faked? Take a look for yourself and see if the lustful man in the video is you. I took out the copied USB drive from my bag and plugged it into the computer. When he saw himself in the video pressing down the woman with blurry eyes, Enzo Gu shouted with red eyes, "Enough, hey, what else do you have to say now?" I glanced at him coldly, as if I was looking at a pile of garbage, turned around, took out the divorce agreement prepared by Gu from my bag, and threw it in his face. Enzo Gu, we're getting divorced. Seeing my determined expression, Enzo Gu's voice became flustered. Mavelai, please listen to my explanation. I have never done such a thing. I love you so much and promised to protect you forever. How could I cheat with another woman? Someone must have framed me. Aria, who was silent, with a fierce look in his eyes. Aria, explain to me clearly. What are these things about? During the days I was away on business, we clearly didn't have any physical contact. So how did these photos appear? Business trip. Gu, who was listening to the show, was full of questions. Didn't Aria tell everyone that you took her on a trip to the North Pole? Enzo Gu narrowed his eyes and looked at Aria with a frighteningly cold expression. Speak clearly. Aria was trembling with fear. Mr. Gu, I don't know. I don't know why they have these photos and videos. I don't know why there are such photos. Enzo Gu was so angry that he slammed his fist on the table. You mean these photos are real? This punch almost scared Aria away. She cried so hard that her face wrinkled into a ball. Boss Gu, I was wrong. I just wanted to take revenge on those gossipers in the company. So I said you took me on a trip to the North Pole. As for that night, I only remember that you were drunk, Mr. Gu. And I helped you back to the room. I took off your clothes and wanted to leave. But her face suddenly turned red, with a hint of shame and indignation. But you kept holding me and refused to let go, and kept muttering Vice President Lee's name. I couldn't push you away. She finished her words tremblingly, and immediately covered her face with tears. I plan to keep what happened that night a secret for the rest of my life. President Gu, I really don't know why there are those photos. And why Vice President Lee knows about it. Enzo Gu's face turned pale. He stood against the wall for a while and shook his head firmly. No, it's impossible. I will never sleep with you. Even though I sometimes subconsciously think you are Mavelai, I will never treat you as her substitute. You don't deserve it at all. Boss Gu, Enzo Gu's words pierced Aria's heart deeply. She shed tears, glared at me with hatred, turned and left the restaurant. Mavelai, give me some time. Enzo Gu's eyes were red, and he turned his head to look at me with a bit of pleading. I really didn't sleep with Aria. The week I went out with her, I just went to the capital to sign a contract. Give me some time, I will get to the bottom of this matter. I avoided his gaze and moved the divorce agreement on the table in front of him. No need, there's no point anymore. Enzo Gu's calm expression completely shattered. How can it be meaningless? Mavelai, I love you so much. All this is just a misunderstanding. I am innocent. Mavelai, misunderstanding. Then was your buying her jewelry also a misunderstanding? You asked her to be the co-pilot, and putting stickers on the car was also a misunderstanding. Is it also a misunderstanding that you want to throw me on the side of the road for her? Is it also a misunderstanding that you took her on a business trip and left the company to me? I looked up at him, and there was no longer any fluctuation in my eyes. Enzo Gu, I will always remember what you said to me. You said I was calculating and strong-willed, and I was totally different from before, but I also want to ask you, are you the same as before? Are you still as loyal to me as before? With every word I said, Enzo Gus' face turned paler, until in the end, it almost lost all its color. He reached out and grabbed my wrist. But Mavel, my love for you has never diminished. Enzo Gu, you know I never let any sand in my eyes. I love coffee, but if there's even a drop of juice in it, I don't want the whole cup. I spoke clearly, but Enzo Gu held my wrist tightly, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't break free. His eyes were fixed on me, and he murmured to himself, I won't get a divorce. Mavel, give me some time, and I will prove to you that I was wronged. Seeing that this man was unmoved, I simply closed my eyes. It doesn't matter, I will go to court to file for divorce, anyway. I have already divided the company and joint property this week. At this time, the mother-in-law beside her couldn't help crying. Enzo Gu, why are you so confused? How could you do such a thing? The father-in-law was so angry that his face turned blue. He picked up a broom and hit Enzo Gu on the back. You rebellious son. I took advantage of the chaos to break free from Enzo Gus' hand and looked coldly at everything in front of me. Our marriage of many years finally turned into a mess. Originally, we planned to have a baby this year. After leaving the restaurant, I have been living with my best friend Gu. Speaking of which, it's been a long time since I got married and I haven't had a good time with my good sisters. After a 5-year relationship ended, no matter how excited I was, I couldn't help feeling a little sad. Fortunately, I have a good friend Gu. Xiao Jiao, I'm telling you, you just haven't seen enough men. Aren't all men like this? No matter how delicious the Manchuhan banquet is, you still want to try the taste of shit. How about I introduce you to a male model? I shook my head. Just because he couldn't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. Loyalty and unwavering commitment are the principles of my love. If he can't do it, then I don't want him. That's a shame. I saw a male model at a bar today. He looked a bit like Enzo Gu. He was handsome, but he was a bit off-putting. She sighed, and the next second, as if she had thought of something, she suddenly sat up straight. But Xiao Jiao, don't you think that the assistant next to Enzo Gu looks a bit like you when he smiles, especially the dimples at the corners of your mouth, which are exactly the same as when you were in college? Do you think that damn Enzo Gu is playing some kind of stand-in literature? My best friend's words were like a bolt from the blue, striking my heart instantly. Come to think of it, Aria's face does seem to be 50% similar to mine. Even before we started our business, my personality was somewhat similar to hers. It was only after we went through many hardships that we gradually developed into the independent people we are now. When talking about my changes, Enzo Gu always inadvertently reveals guilt and regret, so this is why Enzo Gu always protects her. Unfortunately, once you have seen the ocean, all other waters are but puddles. Once you have seen Mount Wushan, all other clouds are but mounds. One day, I suddenly received a call from my mother. My dear daughter, I heard from my mother-in-law that you want to divorce Enzo Gu. Her voice sounded anxious and worried. I knew this moment would come, but I didn't expect it to come so soon. After a moment of silence, I soothed her. Yes, Mom, I had been planning to divorce completely before telling you and Dad. He did some things that I couldn't tolerate. Alas, Enzo Gu is a kid we watched grow up. But we never thought he would do such a thing. Mom sighed. Could he just be confused for a moment? Mavel, are you really going to give it another thought? Mom, I interrupted her next words. I've thought it through. You know, I'm a germaphobe. I always throw away dirty things. Hearing a sigh from the other end of the phone, I smiled and comforted her. What's wrong, Mom? Are you worried that I'm going to move back home and affect your and Dad's world of two? Don't worry about that. I don't want to eat dog food from you too. She was amused by my joke. Forget it, kid. Children and grandchildren will have their own blessings. You decide for yourself. But Mavel, remember that your father and I will always be your strongest backers. No matter what decision you make, we support you. After hanging up the phone, my heart, which was broken by Enzo Gu, gradually recovered. Yes, what if I throw away love? I have plenty of family and friends who love me. In the next few days, I rejected countless calls from Enzo Gu. These days, he disappeared from the company again. according to his mail assistant. He went to the hotel where he and Arya had been on a business trip to remove the surveillance camera. 5 days later, when I was working in the company, there was suddenly another email in my mailbox. Enzo GU, who had disappeared for a few days, suddenly broke in. Maveli, did you see the email I sent you? I have checked everything. Those photos and videos were all generated by AI face changing. I have never done anything to let you down. He looked excited. No longer as calm and gentle as usual, and his deep eyes were fixed on my face. This is all Arya's plan. Maveli, can you forgive me? No, I deleted the email. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You think all this is a calculation. But is your promotion of Arya also a calculation? Enzo GU, to be honest, all of this is because of you. If you hadn't thought I had changed and subconsciously found a substitute who looked like me, so many things wouldn't have happened. Enzo GU. Do you still remember the poem we read together in college? I want to buy Osman thus flowers and carry wine together, but it doesn't feel like the time we spent together as youngsters. Our love can never go back. Enzo GU was hit so hard that he could hardly stand. He almost begged. Maveli, I was wrong. I was really wrong. I have learned how stupid my previous actions were, but I really never meant to hurt you, let alone end our marriage. At the end, his voice was tearful. I really love you, Maveli. I listened to his confession in silence. My heart felt a little dull, but I didn't feel like crying at all. Maybe the wound in my heart has healed long ago. Enzo GU came back. He was still unwilling to sign the divorce agreement, but fortunately I had entrusted GEU to help me with the lawsuit. In a few months at the latest, I would be able to completely get rid of this failed marriage. During this time, I have also been passively eating Arya's melons. After exposing all her conspiracies, Enzo GU called the police. However, just before the police arrived, she disappeared mysteriously and no one could find her. TSK, it's really bizarre, such a grown-up person, just gone like that. But I heard that Enzo GU has mobilized all his resources to find her. It will probably only take a few days. GU took a bite of watermelon and shared the latest gossip with me. Really had feelings for Enzo GU in the beginning, you know. Enzo GU is a piece of shit, but at least he's pretty and he's a domineering CEO, a little girl who just graduated. She must be completely fascinated by him, right? And her family is not well off. I heard from the cleaning lady Liu that she has always wanted to get on the Enzo GU list to rise to prominence, but she is really stupid. You and Enzo GU founded this company together. How could she possibly squeeze you out? And the means she used are so despicable. She tutted her tongue in disdain. It's just that I'm lucky enough to look like you that Enzo GU thinks highly of me. You. That's enough, I interrupted her. Since the matter was over, I didn't want to hear any more news about them. Oh, there is one last thing. Let me finish. Although the police didn't catch Arya, they have obtained solid evidence from her computer. Can you guess who sent that email? Arya. I answered without looking up from my paperwork. Xiao Jiao is so smart. I heard from the hotel owner that she really tried to seduce Enzo GU, but failed. I guess she couldn't wait any longer. So she combined the photos and took a gamble. What a crazy woman. Arya is indeed a crazy woman. The next day, I didn't eat the breakfast that Enzo GU specially sent me, and asked my assistant to return it, but a moment later, I suddenly received the news that he was poisoned and hospitalized. Out of humanitarian concerns, I went to visit him in the hospital. By then he had already had his stomach washed and was out of danger. He lay on the hospital bed. His handsome face looked haggard and pale, no longer as vigorous as before. The moment he saw me, his eyes lit up instantly. Maveli, you're here. I deliberately avoided his outstretched hand and turned to look at his assistant. What on earth is going on? How could someone get poisoned out of nowhere? And in the company, it's Arya, the male assistant said angrily. I just checked the surveillance and it turns out she has been hiding in the company's storage room. She heard that the breakfast was given to you by Mr. GU, so she secretly poisoned it while I wasn't paying attention. Today's breakfast was made by Mr. GU himself. When you returned it, Mr. GU thought it was not to your taste, so he tasted it again to try to improve it next time. Unexpectedly. What about Arya? Have you caught her? Of course she was caught. As soon as I saw her on the surveillance camera, I called the police. She's already in the detention center. I couldn't help but sigh when I heard the news. This Aria is really a lunatic. But if it weren't for Enzo Gu, none of this would have happened. Mayvel. Enzo Gu looked at me pleadingly. I knew what he wanted to say, so I interrupted him directly. Don't say anything more. Take care of yourself. I will take care of the company for you. Ignoring his hurt look. As for the divorce agreement, I also hope you can sign it as soon as possible. Let go as soon as possible and give each other a decent life. After saying that, I got up and left. Behind him, I could hear his suppressed crying. I love you, Mayvel. The night I returned from the hospital, I received the divorce agreement signed by Enzo Gu. Finally, it's all over. Along with the divorce agreement, there was also a company equity agreement. Enzo Gu wanted to give me the entire company as compensation. I refused. After divorcing him, I resigned from the GU group and founded a new company with GU and a few other veterans. As for Aria, she was sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted murder. Enzo Gu still sends me messages from time to time, but it no longer makes me feel emotional. I love you, Mayvel. Enzo Gu, I don't love you anymore.